So some of the preliminary practices are things like mudra, um, things like mantra, and things like mandalas. Maybe you've seen those mandala offerings that are made often in Buddhist temples, and they're beautiful, right? And they're done with all of this colored sand, and they're so intricate. And then at the end, they just blow away, and that's it. And let me let one more person in here. Ding dong, hi. Right. So these practices, these preliminary practices, the Dalai Lama says that the goal of them is to tenderize your mind, to prepare you for the deeper practices like meditation. Hi, Jen, welcome. And when someone asked him how many of those you should do, how many mandalas should I make? How many mudras should I do? Oh, the other one is prostrations, full prostrations, bowing all the way down. He said 50,000. And they said, well, how come 50,000? And the Dalai Lama said, well, you know, if you do 50,000, then you have 50,000 chances to do just one with sincerity. So I thought that was beautiful. And he's such a cute little jokester too. So we're not going to do 50,000 mudras or 50,000 prostrations today, I promise. But we'll do one, hopefully, with sincerity at least. So taking your hands, you're going to bring the thumb and index of each hand to touch. So you have these two Jnana mudras. And then take the thumb and index of your right hand and touch it to the middle finger of your left hand. So right hand is facing out and left hand is kind of pointing back in towards you. The little thumb and index of your left hand, they're coming in towards your heart. You just bring this right in front of your heart. This mudra, one of my favorites, is called the Dharma Chakra, the turning of the wheels. And to me, it's a reminder that whatever side of the wheel you're on, it's going to change. You know, so if you're experiencing a lot of joy right now, I'm so joyful for you. And, you know, it's a reminder not to get super attached because at any moment things change. And so to hold it really lightly, to delight in it, and to not get too gripped and too holding on to it. And then the other side of that is that if you're in a moment of challenge, that you're going to be on the other side of that soon too, that the wheel, it just keeps on turning. And so this mudra is a reminder that the wheel keeps on turning. And it's one of the ways that we tenderize our hearts and our minds. And we're going to do a practice today that hopefully will also tenderize our hearts, but also tenderize our bodies as well. Because the Dalai Lama too, he says, you know, sometimes your mind is like concrete. And I feel like that all the time. It's like things just get sort of lodged in there and they start to get, you know, like opinions and ideas, they start to harden. And that's what we don't want. We don't want to harden. And so that's just the thought for today, that we can use some of these practices, the mudra, the asana, the prostration, the pranayama, all of it as a way to not harden, to tenderize our hearts. And so you could keep your mudra or you could let it go as you like, and take a deep breath in and out. Another practice to help tenderize our hearts and minds is chanting. And so if you want to join me, we can chant one Om together to begin. Breathing in. And then we'll start on hands and knees today. So you can bring yourself to all fours. And I love all the pets and everybody that's joining us. It's so great. So come to all fours and just start to move your spine. So starting to tenderize around your spine, around your rib cage, a little cat-cow kind of action. But you can also add your own personal flair to it. So it doesn't have to be just simple cat-cow. It could be very sort of like dancing, letting your rib cage dance in your chest all over. Whatever comes to you, you know, whatever, let's let it really not be performative. today, and everything that I say is a suggestion that you can interpret as you like. And to let this really be a way to just get in and tenderize, get into the bones, get into all of the tendons and the ligaments and every little tissue, every joint in your body, every cell in your body getting tenderized by your practice. And hopefully the heart will feel the effects. So go ahead and come to a neutral spine and just take your left knee, slide it over next to your right knee, and then you're going to help yourself down onto the right side of your body. So you just come to this sort of loungy position. Send your arm all the way out and rest your head down on your arm here. And so knees are bent and just hanging out, heads resting. Take the left arm up and a few times turn it in and out. We're going to really, as we often do in this class, work on sort of cleaning out the joints, making the whole body really functional, just getting all the dust off. And then so the next time that you roll the arm in, meaning the palm faces back behind you, the thumb turns away from you, go ahead and roll it in as much as you're able to, and then bend the elbow and slip that hand behind your back. And so it might come towards your low back, might come towards the mid back. Some of you might even scooch it up towards the back of your heart, but try not to be too aggressive here. We're going to keep the hand behind the back and then start to slowly roll onto it. So rolling onto your back, essentially you're pinning your left hand underneath you, and you can roll onto your back and take your feet to the floor, or if you're feeling like you've got the room for it, you can send your legs out long and you're just lying here on that arm that's pinned underneath you, letting the compression do its work. You all know I talk about this all the time, that there's just nothing better than compression for our tissues. They just love it. Well, load and compression. And so you're compressing the arm, the hand, the wrist. Let your whole body just release its weight into the earth. What have you been carrying? Are you carrying anything lately that's not even yours to carry, right? I find so much of what I've got on my shoulders and my back, when I really look at it, it's like, it's not even really mine. So a big exhale that even your bones could exhale and release a little more. It's like your bones could come apart at the seams a bit. And then go ahead and bend your left knee, and you're going to keep your left knee bent as you roll onto your belly again, coming to sort of like a half frog in a sphinx pose. So the left knee is bent over to the side, right leg streaming back behind you. Releasing the left arm. Bring your elbows to the floor. So you're coming into a sphinx, but it's asymmetrical. You have this leg bent out to the side, and then take some cat-cow here in your sphinx. And you can land in a back bend. So landing where you're really letting the heart just glide open between the upper arms, feeling the gentle compression in the lumbar area, feeling some pulling perhaps around the front of the left hip. Stretch. The other day I was in a meditation class, and the teacher, she's just brilliant. She said, senses don't have opinions. I thought that was so great. Like, just feel it, right? Just you can feel it and notice, okay, there's compression, there's some pulling, there's some heat, there's some coolness. Just sense it without an opinion about it. And then go ahead, send that left leg back behind you. Come back to all fours, wiggle it out a little bit, shake out your spine, do a little dance with the rib cage and the spine inside the body. Thinking about what organs are in there. Can you picture them? Do you know where your own organs are? Right, where your kidneys are, towards the lower back, where your liver is, where your stomach is. And thinking about tenderizing those too. And the heart. You know, the heart is sort of, it's protected by the rib cage, of course, but you can still get in there, tenderize around the heart. And then go ahead and take your right knee, just slide it over next to your left knee so that you can help yourself down onto the left side of your body. Send the left arm out to rest your head on it. I'll show you from this side now so you can see what the arm is doing. And then take the right arm up and in and out a few times, just playing with joint rotation, being curious about it perhaps. You know, what stops me? Why can't I move infinitely in a circle with my arm? What's happening there? What gets in the way? And then roll it in, bend the elbow, slip the hand behind your back, wherever it goes, okay? So it could be down here, could be here, could be up here, wherever it lands without you having to bully it too much. And then keep it there. Start to roll onto your back. Pin the arm underneath you, and you can send the legs out long, or you can always keep them bent too, okay? Lots of options here. The left arm, right, that one's doing whatever it wants. Don't worry too much about that one. But do imagine the whole front of your body melting down into the back of your body, that everything can move in the direction of the earth. Be like water just for a moment here. And then bending this time your right knee. You're going to take that bent knee with you as you roll over the left hip onto your front into that asymmetrical sphinx, releasing the right arm, coming to elbows down. And then same like we did before, adding a little bit of cat-cow in a sphinx just a few times here to get acquainted with this shape. And then letting it linger in the back bend, letting all of the chi, right? The prana, we call it in yoga, Chinese medicine, it's called chi. Chi is like, somebody the other day said it's like electricity and vitality and breath and spirit all rolled into one. Imagine that pooling in your low back, like a shimmery, sparkly pool of electric energy. And then as you send your right leg back behind you and you let your chest down, imagine that sparkly pool of energy now just spreading out, equidistant, spreading out to fill every part of you, reaching every cell, every nook and cranny. Come on back up to all fours. This time as you come to all fours, take a downward dog, curl the toes, lengthen the legs, pedal it out. You could tread through the feet a little bit. Oh my God. I went hiking with my mother the other day. My mother's almost 70 and she's like Wonder Woman. And she was just charging up this mountain like it was no big deal. I've not been able to walk for 2 days. So I'm going to bow out of a lot of this, but I'll talk you through it. So walk your feet all the way up to your hands at the front of your mat or whatever space you're on. Hang over your legs, ragdoll style for a moment. So if you've got a block, now would be the time to go fetch a block. But if you don't have a block, don't worry about it at all. You can use a book. You can use, literally, look, you can use, I've got my hat here. You can put a hat on your hand, anything at all, any object that you've got in your home or wherever you are. Go fetch an object, maybe not an animal or a cat. Maybe Jenny, I don't know, you could get one of your little squirrels. And then come up to stand, and you're going to take that object, whatever it may be, your block or your hat or your book, and just balance it on your right hand. I'm going to mirror you. So balancing it so that you're not grabbing it, but you're just letting it rest on a palm that's not gripping at all. And so that's part of the fun, is that it's very easy to lose it as we do this. And so don't worry if you drop your block. So you're just going to stand in a simple kind of Tadasana position and start to move your block as if it's a paintbrush. And you want to paint every inch of the space around you, moving that block every which way that you can dream of, No wrong way to do it. If you lose it, pick it up again. Don't worry. Try not to grip it though. See if you can just balance it. At some point, definitely do try to take it in a circle underneath your armpit. Oh, so you do a big circle. It scoops in. You kind of turn the fingers towards you, scoop them in towards the belly. Under the arm it goes, and then back around. You can try that a couple times. You could try that backwards. That's a good brain activity. How did I do that? Like that. Now, can I do it backwards? Oh. So the answer might be no. A couple more moments of this, every which way. And then we're going to come to a standing forward fold where you could use the block for your hands. And you could just let yourself, if you have a block, if you don't, just let it go. Don't worry about it. You could do this all with nothing as well. Hang over the leg for a moment. And then go ahead and take your right leg for a big step back. And you're going to move the block over to the left side so it's right next to your left hip if you've got one. And if you don't, you can do all this without a block, but it's helpful to lean on something that you could take the right arm alongside your ear. And so you come to this side bend, and the block can be on any setting, or if you don't have a block, you could always do elbow and thigh too. And you're just finding space, right? Tenderizing around between the ribs on the right side, tenderizing around the hips. One more time, breathe in and out. And then go ahead and bring your two hands down, bring them to either side of the left foot, draw the hips back. Just have a moment here where, a little bit of freedom. You can move your leg, you could bend and straighten a few times, or you can fold over that left leg. What is your body craving? What wants to be felt? The body, it wants to be felt, and it talks to you with sensation. And, sometimes it talks to you with discomfort or even pain, but that's not a bad thing. It's just your body wanting to be felt. And then go ahead from there, step on back, downward facing dog. Give it a roll out into a plank pose. And then touch your knees down. Take child's pose from there. And we'll try to stay nice and low, kind of like skim the ground to ride it through into a cobra. And from there, back into a downward facing dog. And you can walk your feet up to meet your hands. Grab your block along the way. Just notice where it is. Grab it, bring it with you. Come all the way up to stand. The block is going to be on the left hand this time. Same thing. And so you're painting the space around you with your block every which way here, under the arm, backwards, forwards, spin it around, pull it through. You could go between the legs, behind the back, anywhere. Try not to grip, but just let it float like you're a cocktail waitress in Vegas. You don't want to spill the tray of drinks here. And then go ahead and bring that block down in front of you if you have the block. If not, you're just folding without it. Take a forward bend over your legs. Drapey, hanging, dangling. Let gravity unpack your spine. And then from there, we'll step the left leg back. And so you can take the block and move it over to the right side of you. Put it next to your hip. So it's not by the foot. It's kind of a little further back than that. And the left arm will reach up and over the ear. And you're coming to this side bend lunge here. So breathing in spaciousness through the back ribs, the back heart. We talk so much in yoga. There's so much emphasis on heart opening, like back bending has given so much value. But there's also a back of your heart. Your heart is three-dimensional. It's not just in the front. It's in the sides too. everywhere. It's a 360-degree opening, balloon-like expansion. Bring your hands down to either side of the front foot, hips go back, and then have a moment here where you play. You can swing your pelvis around. You can play with the bending of the front knee. You can play with how much you fold. And then go ahead and step that back, downward facing dog. And just the same as before, you'll roll it out into plank and touch your knees down from the plank. Plank to child's pose. And then child's pose, kind of slide out along the floor to rise open into a cobra. Could even be a little bigger this time. And then back to downward facing dog. Nice. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet this time. And as you inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms high. And then just fold right back down over your legs. Walk it right out into a plank. Lower all the way in a straight line down to your belly. Full prostration, arms out, head down. So this is one of those practices that Dalai Lama talked about, that you are turning yourself from hard concrete into loose, soft earth, right? Tenderizing body, heart, and mind. Pull the hands back. Your choice, either cobra, or you could take upward dog. You could do a little bigger back bend, and then downward facing dog. Walking hands back to feet at the back of your space. Again, roll up, reach for the sky. 360-degree breathing, and fold all the way down. Walk it right out into a plank. Lower in a straight line down to the ground, full prostration. Your palms can be facing down or they can be turned up. It's up to you, but do let the head drop. Pull the hands back. Back bend of your choice, little cobra, big cobra, or up dog. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. One more time, walk hands back to feet. Bend the knees, roll up, reach your arms to the sky. I told you, we're not going to do 50,000 of these, but one is done with sincerity. That's pretty great. Fold all the way down. A few chances to do one with total sincerity. Walk the hands out to plank. Lower all the way to the ground. Last time, full prostration. Lay it out. Soften, tenderize. Rumi would say, be crumbled so that wildflowers will grow where you are. Pull your hands back, lift your chest, and then downward facing dog. So moving on from here in downward dog, lift your right leg up to the sky behind you. Right leg in the air, give it a little wave around. You can roll the ankle, curl the toes, tenderizing into all the little ligaments and joints of the toes and ankle. And then step your right foot right up through the hands. Reverse warrior, so right into it. Spin the back heel down. Pick your arms up, reach them in a big circle overhead. Left hand slides down the back leg, right arm up by the ear, side bending again. We're going to do lots of this kind of opening through the side body today. And then if you want to watch, you can always watch. I'm going to bend the back knee and bend that, sweep on over to it like a half squat, skandasana. You could stay up high or you could get lower. You can use your hands or the block. Skandasana. And then through a wide-legged position facing the side of your space just for a moment. Then go ahead, walk it back around to the front, step back, downward facing dog. Take it for a ride into plank. Touch your knees down, child's pose, just like before. Skim along the ground to open your chest through the arms, cobra or up dog. And back to downward facing dog. So just like that on the other side, lift your left leg, lift it up to the sky, give it a wag and a wave around, move what's asking to be moved, feel what's asking to be felt without too many opinions, right? Senses don't have opinions. And then step left foot through the hands. You're gonna open right into reverse warrior. So anchor the back heel down, pinwheel the arms open, take that side bend, expanding in all directions simultaneously, 360-degree tenderizing. And this time you're gonna bend the right knee and sweep back down over to it, Skandasana, either nice and high or any amount towards the ground that feels okay for you. And then from there, through a wide-legged fold, just to touch that momentarily with a light touch, walk it around back to the front, downward facing dog. And then that vinyasa, which you could skip, right? If you want to just hang out in down dog or take a child's pose, be my guest. Otherwise, you're going plank, child's pose, scoop into a back bend, and then back to downward dog. And just touch your knees down, rest for a moment. Child's pose, or if you're warm, you could sit up on your heels. And we're gonna do that again, and we're gonna add on to it a little bit. Get a little bit fancy today, a little bit fancier than we normally do in this class. So go ahead, come back to downward dog. And as you arrive, you'll pick up your right leg, just like before. Send it forward between the hands. Spin the back heel down to the floor. Reverse warrior. Swim your way up and open. And then from there, bending the back knee, Skandasana, you're going down over to it. So stay like this, right? You could stay high, you could come low, or can you get your butt down? Because you doesn't have to be pretty, but to plunk down so that you've got right leg long, left knee bent. And then with the right hand, hold on to your left ankle and take a big side stretch over that long leg here. You might hold the foot, but you don't have to. You can let the arm float or wrap it behind. Remember, it's all a suggestion. And then come on up. Bring that right leg in closer and come to squat. You'll probably be facing the side of your mat. All good. Don't worry too much about anything when it comes to where you're facing. So squatting and just holding on to the squat for just a moment. I'm going to show you, and you might want to check in and watch for a second. Couple options, okay? So squat and then heel toeing the left foot in underneath you and coming up to tree. Or here's the other option. This will be the super adventure moment. Squat, crow. And then maybe the right foot never touches the floor. The left foot comes down and you come right up into tree. So choosing one of those, okay? So you're either in squat and you're gonna heel toe the left foot underneath you, come up tree pose, or crow, and you're delivering just the left foot to the ground, standing up, taking the right one up with you. Either way, arrive in a tree. Feel free to weeble and wobble around as you come to your tree. And then since we've been doing it a lot, let's add some of that side bending. So the right palm is going to come face up on your right thigh. The left arm will reach overhead. And you can find that same expansion, tenderizing, opening, like spring cleaning, right? Spring is happening. Imagine throwing all the windows open between your ribs on the left side. And then come back, tall spine, hands to heart. Step your right foot out forward to the front of the mat, but toes are all pointing to the side. So we're back in a wide stance here, right? All the toes pointing straight ahead. Bring your hands behind your back. Hold your wrists or your elbows or your forearms, whatever you can hold on to, and fold forward. So we're going to keep the arms as is as you fold here. stay, gonna live in this one for a little bit. So try not to come out of it just yet. See if you can make a home here. And, if you do find discomfort occurring or sensation that happens, you just notice it and try not to have too much of an opinion about it. Try not to let it harden into an opinion. Okay, go ahead, let your arms go. Walk you back around to the front where you'll step back into down dog. And then changing it a little bit here now from downward dog. You can roll to plank like we did, touch your knees down, but this time sitting with your toes curled under. Sit on your heels. And take your right arm, reach it forward, up alongside your ear. Keep it going. You can even watch it drift back behind you. Turn the thumb down, so roll the arm in and bring that hand behind your back, wherever it lands. So right hand behind your back, could be low back, could be mid back, could be towards the heart. And then keep it there. Bring the left arm, same thing, big circle, up and around, watch it go. This time you're gonna bring the left hand as close to your right elbow as you can. So if you can, you grab hold the elbow. If not, you're holding forearm, wrist, anywhere that you can hold. If you need relief off the toes, you can always come up at any time. Okay, now press all 5 fingers of your right hand into your back, especially the thumb. Try to get as much of the skin of the back of your hand as possible, touching the back of your body. Let that be an invitation to find the back of your heart and breathe into it so that your heart becomes more global again, more 360 degrees. Take one more breath like this. We're going to release the feet, just the feet. Keep the arms as they are. Just lift up, uncurl the toes, sit down on the tops of the feet. Take one more breath. Can you snuggle that right arm a little further up your back? Can you press it a little more intently into the back of your heart and let the back of your heart puff out to meet it? And then slowly release the arms. Imagine all of that sparkly energy, the prana, the chi, now just free flowing through the whole upper body. Bring your hands back behind you a little bit, fingertips on the ground. If that's enough to stretch the tops of your feet, stay there. If you want a little more sensation, pick your knees up, stretch even more across the front of the ankle and the tops of the feet. And then let that go. I'm going to tuck the toes under one more time. I know, I'm right here with you. And this time, the left arm, the sit down left arm goes up and behind you. It turns in as it travels back there. And then you try to tuck it towards the back of the heart, any amount. Snuggle it up. Right arm does the same thing. The right hand is going to try to come as close to the left elbow as it can. It might one day fit in there. They're sort of made for each other, but no worries if you're not there yet. Snuggle that left hand into your back. Press the back of your thumb, all 5 fingers, into your back. And I know your toes are feeling it, right? But let's just see it. It's just energy, right? What you feel. Any sensation at its most fundamental is nothing but energy. It's your body's electricity, vitality, temperature, compression, pulling, all of that. It's just, without opinion, it's just energy. But I know sometimes energy hurts. Pick up your hips, sit down on the tops of your feet. Keep your arms for another couple of breaths here. Can you press that left hand even more intently into the back of your body. Can you feel the 360-degree barrel-like nature of your torso and inflate the whole thing? And then you're letting the arms dissolve, but being there for it, right? To not miss that. Take your hands back behind you. Stretch the ankles by lifting the knees if there's room, or just stretch them by sitting on them. Either way, they're getting that good, sweet compression. Okay, as you let that go, we'll take the other side of that kind of fancy sequence that we did. So downward facing dog. And it's going to be the left leg that lifts this time. And turn my phone off. There we go. Pick up your left leg, step the foot all the way up through the hands. Anchor the back heel, and so it's reverse warrior. Down to that half squat skandasana, bend the back knee, the right knee. Come on down, we're gonna get all the way to the floor. So whatever it takes, okay? Plonking down onto the floor, left leg long, grab the front of the right ankle with your left hand and go sideways. As you make your way up from this one, you're helping yourself into a squat. So I like hands behind me for a little help. Pull the left leg in, come to squat. And you can decide if you're going to take a crow. You could even take a headstand, right? A tripod headstand. But where we're going to end up is a tree on the right foot. And so it could be as sweet and simple as just bringing that right foot underneath you and coming up. Next level would be a crow, or just, an attempt at a crow. Drop the right foot, come on up. You want to get super fancy? Why not? You could headstand. And try to go right from headstand to tree. That's a good party trick, right? So anyway you get there, tree pose, you're balancing on the right foot, and we're side bending over the left leg in that little tree blowing in the wind shape. I know you can't see the top of me, but the right arm reaching over the ear is what's happening. Float back up to a neutral spine, two hands together at the heart, big step open with the left leg, still facing the side, wide-legged stance here. Now try this. You can bring the arms behind you like we did before, holding wrists, forearms, or elbows. Or you could take it to reverse prayer behind your back. Try to press the palms really firmly together. Reverse prayer or holding the arms, wide leg forward fold. Try to keep the prayer or the arms for as long as you're able to here. Stay with it. We practice developing a new relationship with discomfort, that there's some respect instead of a immediate need to run away. Like, we can both live together in this house for a minute. For the last whole breath, you might bring the hands even a little closer together, a little more firmly pressed if they're in a prayer, or reach a little further towards the elbows if you're able to. Strong legs, fronts and backs of the legs all lit up. And then go ahead and let the arms just dissolve to be there for all of that feeling. Yeah. And walk it around to the front, whatever that is for you. Walk around towards the front, come into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, roll it out to plank. From plank, touch your knees down. Keep your butt lifted high. Puppy pose. Walk your arms out. Let your heart melt down. And from puppy pose, you can come to a seat, touch your knees down, uncurl your toes, just sit on your heels. One more time, let's bring back that mudra. So thumb and index finger of each hand touching. The right hand, the mudra, the thumb and index touches the middle finger of the left hand. And they just come to rest in front of your heart. Dharma chakra, the wheel is in constant motion. Whatever side we're on today, we'll be on the other side pretty soon. And inside, it's changing outside. It's turning into spring where I am here. And it made me think about how inside of us, it's just nothing but constant change, right? That all of our cells, every moment, thousands of them, are living and dying and reproducing. Can you feel that? How you too are change. And let that release. So coming to hands and knees, let's see how this goes. We're going to take one knee. Let's do the right knee first. Cross it in front of the left knee. And kind of give your hips a little squish back and forth for a moment. And then bring the left knee out. Cross that one in front of the right knee. Do that a couple times until you crawl your way sort of up to the front of your space. And let's end up with the right leg on top. Sit back between your feet. If you need to do otherwise, if you need to open the bottom leg, you can definitely do that. If you've got a block, you could bring it with you for this one, okay? So we have right leg on top. You're in Gomukhasana or you're in half Gomukhasana like so. If you've got the block, bring it over to the right side of you. And if you don't have one, you can do this without a block just fine. But what I was loving with this, playing with this, was taking the elbow to the block. If you don't have a block, you can do forearm. Or, I don't know, probably not elbow. I not for a palm, okay? And then the other arm, it's pretty simple shape, but it's quite profound, I think. Other arm is just gonna drape behind the back. And we're not trying to push it up towards the heart. Just let it be heavy and just like wherever it lands, kind of fall behind the back. And then let your head drop, right ear to right shoulder. Can your lower body release a little bit more, be more water-like? So if there's gripping around the legs, hips, knees, ankles, anywhere, we're trying to loosen the gripping. Lower body soft and heavy. And I don't know, I think most people probably feel a lot of sensation here. But if you don't, you can always turn the block on a shorter setting or take the block away altogether. Okay, there's always somewhere to go here. This is a really good shape to feel into that idea that sensation is neutral. There's all kinds of different sensations happening here, stretching, compression, perhaps awkwardness, discomfort, perhaps delight. But can it all just be like, it's just energy? Right? Everything I feel, every temperature change, every pull or push, it's just energy. It's not personal. Couple more breaths. The magic in this one is in the staying power, I think, that you could stay in this one a long time. We don't have a ton of time today, but You could, as an experiment, do it later, you know, hold it 5 minutes, see what happens. But no, come on, gently out of it. And just like we've been doing, to really be there for the aftermath. Notice everything. And then give it a shake out. You can open your legs up to wherever they want to be. You might give them a little love. We'll eventually meet back on the hands and knees. And we'll do that same little walk of the knees, starting with the other leg. So left leg crosses in front, do a little squish around. And keep going, right leg crosses in front. You're gonna do it a few times, you know, like 5 times, maybe 4 or 5 times, until you end up 5 times, I guess, with the left leg on top of the right leg. And then you'll sit back between your feet, or you'll open your bottom leg up. And so now the block, if you have it, or the pillow would work too, coming over to the left side that you can lean your forearm on it. If not, you're on a palm, and that's just as wonderful. The right arm, nothing fancy, it just slips behind your back. And then head drops, left ear to left shoulder. Heavy, soft legs. Easy belly. You can follow the breath. Just notice how deep the breath goes without forcing it, without like needing to, you know, do anything special with your belly, but just let the belly be kind of soft. With the diaphragm, imagine your diaphragm really relaxed. And follow the breath. Follow the breath to just see how deep it drops. Couple more breaths, stay with it. And when you do come out, coming out really slowly with great respect. And any amount of shaking out, where we're going to end up is a wide leg straddle shape. So if you want to shake out your legs, windshield wiper, pat, love, bounce, but eventually coming to a wide straddle where you could walk out through the middle any amount and spend some time there. You could bring your block with you if you like. Come on up from there. As you come up, scoop your knees in. I'm going to gather yourself. Come down onto your back. Hug your knees, a little rock from side to side across the back. And then we'll take a twist to finish. So if you like, you can wrap your right leg on top, drop the knees over to the left. If that's a little too much sensation for today, you can keep the knees stacked or put them on a pillow. Then drop your knees to the left. Sometimes it's nice. You notice the left lung here. It sometimes gets really squished. So a nice adjustment in this pose is just to press down into your left elbow and try to pick up that left shoulder, move it away from the hip a little bit. So there's more room for your lungs. And then you can let yourself rest in this one. So heavy on the ground. Let your body be very water-like, or very like soft crumbled earth. And then come on back through the middle. Take your time. We'll go to the other side, but there might be some sort of rinsing, washing, playing in between. And eventually you can make your way to the other side in no rush. And here too, giving that lung, the right lung, a little more space by picking the shoulder up, moving it back. Once you feel ready, you'll make your way into Shavasana. If there's anything you need along the way, honor that. Body's longing to be felt. As you lie in Shavasana, feeling the effects of your practice, letting that soak into your tissues and heart and mind, tenderizing. So please feel free to stay longer. Otherwise, like a little new flower bursting up through the ground, you can start to push your way up through the imaginary soft earth, letting your petals unfurl as you come up to sit. You could take the mudra one last time together. Thumb and index touch. Right hand touches middle finger of left hand. Comes in front of the heart. Dharma chakra. Wheel is in constant motion. And here we are. You can keep your hands there. You might put them on your body or touch them to prayer. We can seal it all in with one more practice to tenderize the heart and mind, chanting Om. Whoa. Thank you so much. Tuesday, people.